Parts of Atlantic Canada are taking the next steps to reopening today as the country begins to relax the restrictions put in place to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic. This morning, we're checking in with two reporters on the East Coast. In Prince Edward Island, The Guardian's Stuart Neatby, and in Newfoundland and Labrador, NTV's Kellyanne Roberts. Great to talk to both of you. We're going to start with Stuart in Charlottetown. Some schools in Prince Edward Island will be reopening today with students with priority needs. How many schools are we talking about today, and which students are eligible to return?
Hi, Ben. Basically, these are 8 schools across the province of Prince Edward Island, and it's particularly for students who have an educational assistant or who are working with like a youth social worker, for example. But the province has basically said that they'll have some pretty strict social distancing measures in place, sort of advanced hygiene measures. So it's going to be a pretty limited group of students, to be perfectly honest. The province has basically stated that for most students, they'll remain closed for the rest of the school year.
Well, Prince Edward Island officially began reopening on May 1st. The next phase is set to begin next Friday, the 22nd. Have you been able to get a sense of how people are feeling about this reopening?
Yeah, well, I mean, actually, Prince Edward Island, as of Friday, is the only province which is essentially COVID-free. I mean, we no longer have any positive cases of COVID. All 27 that we've observed have recovered. So the weekend is actually pretty good for most people because the province moved up its sort of ease-back plan, basically allowing indoor gatherings of up to 5, outdoor gatherings of up to 10, as long as people were social distanced. But, people over the weekend, for example, were either able to have like Mother's Day dinner. Some contact was allowed under public health regulations. I mean, the premier appeared in a Twitter post, in a video with his arm around his mother, kind of joking around with her. So yeah, Islanders, I think, they're starting to see some real ease back of the restrictions. But of course, retail businesses remain closed as of now until about the 22nd. And it's anyone's guess as to what happens with the tourism season, which has been a huge industry here.
Stuart, thank you very much for this. We appreciate it. And now we're going to bring in NTV's Kellyanne Roberts from St. John's. Kellyanne, what is officially reopened as of today in Newfoundland and Labrador?
As of today, we've moved into level 4 of our alert system. And so with that, municipal parks can reopen. Of course, playgrounds still remaining closed. Some law firms, financial buildings, things like that. You're also going to see golf courses, fishing and hunting, of course, being allowed, all as long as you maintain physical distancing and the proper public health measures. Some increased childcare will also happen today. And we also joined a double bubble, but that was last week, but it was a part of level 4. So slowly, gradually reopening some things, but not fully. You're going to see a lot more of that in level 3.
Well, last week, the government of Newfoundland and Labrador passed a bill giving police new powers during the pandemic. Can you tell us more about Bill 38?
Yes, for sure. So with Bill 38, it's an amendment to our Public Health and Promotions Act, which is what was able to be put in place by our Chief Medical Officer of Health to allow some of the public health measures. And so Bill 38 specifically helps police and RCMP patrol our borders, essentially. So they needed to feel and needed this bill to come in so that they could detain people and return them to our borders to essentially send them back home if they don't meet the criteria to enter the province. And so with that, you have to prove your primary residency is in Newfoundland and Labrador or have an exemption form from our Chief Medical Officer of Health, which allows you to come in. So a lot of those situations are people coming in to care for loved ones, end of life, things like that. So in that, you have to have that exemption form. But this really allows the police to detain people and bring them back to our borders. Of course, it doesn't allow them to enter private dwellings without a warrant. That still remains in place, but it's really so that they can patrol the borders.
Kellyanne Roberts, thank you so much. We appreciate it.
Thanks for watching. If you like this, be sure to subscribe here.
And you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.